Welcome to Feral Futures. My name is Nakaya, and I am looking forward to these conversations. I'm not sure where they're going to go, and that's one of the reasons why it's called Feral Futures. So, a little bit about why this feels important and why I'm really looking forward to getting into these conversations. And probably you have some idea of what that's about. We are in, people are saying we're in very interesting times. I actually appreciate people who say we are in very interesting times, because that neutralizes a lot of the panic and bewilderment, just a lot of the extreme volatile emotions that are on the other side of the word interesting. So if you are out there and you're trying to make sense of what's going on in the world, I see you, and we're it's not my intention to answer the question of what's going on in the world. um, it's my intention to provide resources and encouragement and perspective that can help you navigate your life inside of the story of what's going on in the world. So, in this episode, I would like to remind those of you who have grounding practices to stick with your grounding practices. Now is the time that you have been preparing for. When we train for something, whatever it is, athletics, a job role, whatever else it is that we might be out there training and preparing for, this is the time that all of your grounding practices, your centering, stilling, serenity practices have, this is why you've been doing it these times. And there are people around you who will benefit from you being the anchor. I'm thinking of resonance. I'm thinking of the HeartMath Institute and their resonance research. So if you are that person who has developed a strong grounding practice, however you have come to that, for you, I'm saying continue that practice. And if there's some folks around you that you can teach some of those skills to, teach something to the people around you that can help them also stay regulated inside of their own system. For those of you who have never heard someone say, develop a grounding practice, or if you have no idea what that means, or if you have some idea but haven't taken the steps to develop something for yourself, now is the time to learn. Now is the time to find something. And it can be so many things. So the conventional ideas are meditation, prayer, typically meditation and prayer. And I come from a pretty, I'm looking for the words. I come from a background along, my life has been about spiritual practice. And so my language is very much oriented towards spiritual practice, metaphysical ideas, esoteric ideas. Please do not get caught up in that. I'm using a vocabulary that's my vocabulary. I am sure that you are intelligent enough to take the words that I'm using and find your own equivalent. People do it all the time. You hear a word and maybe that word doesn't make sense to you, but some other word comes in and fills that place. We also need to have that skill. We need to have the skill of being able to hear something and put it into our own language so that we can use that information. we can be effective, and we can carry that forward in a meaningful way in service to our own lives and the lives of those around us. So you're going to hear me use words that they don't resonate with you. That doesn't mean that the message isn't useful to you. Same way with something that you may want to share with someone else, the words may not resonate, but the ideas or the things that you're teaching will be useful to other people. So going back to setting up your own grounding practice, you can also go out onto the earth. This became real popular a few years ago, putting your actual bare feet on the ground. That's another practice. Running, walking, writing, singing. What you're looking for is something that you are going to be willing to do every day. The time frame is up to you. It can be a few moments every day. It can be a few moments several times throughout the day. It can be longer stretches of time. Whatever it is you have available to you, you make a decision about what your commitment's going to be, and then you stay committed. Giving that repetition to the body, giving that sense of congruency to the body, letting the body know, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to show up for you every day. That also helps the nervous system regulate into a sense of trust. And one of the things that many of us need to develop is a sense of trust in the deeper current of actual life that animates this planet. So if you are someone who has practices, double down on your practices. If you're someone who's been considering practices and hasn't started, now's the time to get on it. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go do a search or talk to some friends about what they do to relax their mind, relax their body. And I am not talking about any sort of addictive substances. Now is not the time to check out. We need to fully check in. So it's going to be some sort of somatic, some sort of physical activity, which also includes writing, a writing practice. And I'm including that because I just want you to see there's a wide range of options that does not include alcohol and those kinds of things that some of us have relied on to get through hard times in the past. Now, there's a lot of reasons for why we want a body that's not reactive, and that's what we're going for here. A body that has been fed as well as we can manage to feed it, that has been exercised. I hate to say it that way because the image that I get is like running a horse or running a dog through its paces. We're not necessarily going for that, but maybe we are. Maybe that imagery serves you. Maybe that is something that motivates you. One of the reasons for having a body that is regulated and non-reactive, that's another way of saying regulated, is we don't react to everything that comes into our field of awareness. You can just stop the recording right there and just imagine or remember, depending upon where you're coming from as you're listening to this conversation, just imagine what it is like when the world around you is doing what it does, the people around you, the conversations around you, the information around you, the weather around you, the traffic around you, whatever else is around you that leaves an imprint or tries to impact you in some way. Just imagine what your response capacity is when you feel safe, when you feel rested, when you feel fully centered in yourself. Just pause this conversation and just check in with yourself. What is that feeling? that ability to move about the cabin of this planet without being chronically pulled off your center, that is a skill that more of us need to develop because it's very, very much needed in these times. There is a difference between reacting to our environment and responding to our environment. And I know that many of you have heard this, but again, we are now in the time where it's necessary to actually put what we know into practice. We have been practicing for decades, some of us, for the times we're in right now. So, developing the steadiness in our center so that we can engage with the things of this world that actually need us to engage with them. That's what we're wanting to do. Those are the skills we're wanting to develop. So there's multiple parts to this, but what I'm wanting to focus on today is encouraging you to get into your practices, whatever your practices are. And I would love it if you would share what your practices are, if it's possible for you to share that here in this space in the comments, because you will help other people identify their own practices. Maybe you do something that's very resourceful for you that someone else is also aware of, but maybe they haven't thought of it as something they could do to help themselves. And then there's the group of people who don't know where to begin. They don't know what to do for themselves. So please share what it is that you use to resource yourself in the comments. Because the other thing about this is it would be so helpful to all of us to have a community engagement, have a community engaged around welcoming in the expansion of the possibilities that are at play in these times. I think I'm going to stop here because the next piece is on discernment, if I remember to talk about that in order. And discernment is very important, but practicing discernment, in my experience, takes a certain quality of relationship with our bodies that is developed in the practices that we're talking about today, the grounding practices. Being able to still your mind, still your reactivity long enough to feel your body in a different way, to feel your body in a settled way, a calm way. So work on that. Remind yourself of what that is. Make some sort of commitment to a daily routine for yourself. And then we'll come back and we'll start talking about discernment and how the practice of discernment will help many of you step back from the information that is detrimental to your health and detrimental to your energy level and detrimental to the service that you're actually designed to contribute to in this world. Okay, thank you so much for listening.